House will come to order. Pledge of Allegiance will be by Caleb Chambers and Maisie Chambers from International School of Denver.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with justice and liberty.
Please call the roll.
Representatives Arndt, Becker J, Becker K, Representative K. Becker,
Excused.
Beckman, Benavidez, Bridges, Buck, Buckner, Carver, Representative Carver, Catlin, Coleman, Covarrubias, Danielson, Escar, Everett, Exum, Foote, Garnett, Janal, Gray, Hamner, Hanson, Harrod, Representative Harrod, Hooten, Humphrey, Jackson, Kennedy, Kraft Arp, Landgraf, Lawrence, Lepsock, Lee, Leonard, Lewis, Liston, Lontine, Representative Lontine, Lundeen, McKean, Representative McKean, McLaughlin, McLaughlin. Oh, thank you. Melton. Representative Melton.
Excused.
Michelson Janae. Mitch Bush. Mitch Bush. Navarro. Neville. Nordberg. Pabon. Representative Pabon.
Excused.
Pedersen. Pedersen.
She's late. She's going to be late.
Excused.
Rankin. Ransom. Rosenthal. Sane. Salazar. Sias. Singer.
Here!
Thurlow. Valdez. Van Winkle. Weissman. Willett. Williams. Wilson. Representative Wilson. Winter. Wist. Young. Madam Speaker.
Present.
Melton Pavone Pedersen.
With 62 present and 3 excused, we have a quorum. Representative Garnett. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the reading of the Journal of Wednesday, March 8th be dispensed with and approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
Members, you have heard the motion. All of those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed signify by saying no. Motion passes. Thank you, Assistant Majority Leader. Announcements and introductions. Representative Landgraf.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I've spoken to the Majority Leader and the Minority Leader, and I request the 14th off of March.
You are excused, Representative Landgraf.
Thank you.
Further announcements or introductions? I knew somebody else had to have an announcement or introduction. Representative Arndt.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you for waiting for me. Today is Colorado College Day at the Capitol.
Hold on, Representative Arndt. Members, we have announcements and introductions. We have several guests with us today at the Capitol. Representative Arndt.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Today is Colorado College Day at the Capitol. I am a proud alumna of Colorado College, and several of our colleagues are too. You'll find them in the bill drafting offices, lobby, core, and all around. Some of them are legislative liaisons too, and they're sitting over there. I'd also like to welcome Professor Tom Cronin, who has long served our state by being an outstanding professor of political science. He also ran for Congress once. He's written many books on Colorado politics, and I can recommend them all, and I'll take my fine.
$1. Further announcements or introductions? Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Also want to introduce in the far back corner over there a board member from Valley-Wide Health Services. We want to welcome here to the Capitol. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the Capitol. $1. Further announcements or introductions? Representative Young, good morning.
Morning, Madam Speaker. Members, we're going to have a legislative meet and greet tomorrow morning with the clubhouse members and consumers. There's a memo on your desk. I just wanted to let you know that that was coming because it's before we gavel in tomorrow from 7:30 to 9 over at the Supreme Court chambers, the old Supreme Court chambers. See you there.
Representative Winter, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Fellow members, we have a very special group with us here today. Some of them are in the back, some of them are in the lobby. It's the Girls from Ignite, which is an organization to get high school girls politically empowered and tell them that their voice matters. And so they all have black shirts on with hot pink Ignite. Please say hi, mentor them, see what their issues are, and welcome them to Capitol.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Representative Winter, and welcome to the young women from Ignite. Representative Janal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I just want to welcome to the chamber the Salute Family Clinic from Fort Collins. I believe they're sitting over here on this side. They're waving up there. Hello, Salute Family Clinic. Everybody give them a hand. They are a primary care clinic in Fort Collins that helps a lot of folks who need family planning, dental, pharmacy, you name it, but they're a primary care home model. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Representative McKean and Representative Hansen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's such a pleasure serving with you. It's not paying attention, but it's okay. Well, folks, happy hour. Happy hour means lots of different things. Today, happy hour means 70 degrees on the patio outside the House of Representatives. 4 o'clock, we will have happy hour. Drinks, refreshments, snacks.
Thank you, Representative McKean. Madam Speaker, just wanted to reiterate a very warm invitation to the freshman class of 2017 for taking advantage of a beautiful Colorado spring day. We'll be on the porch at 4 o'clock. Rush from your committees. Please come join us.
Okay, so I just want to make sure, are all of us invited or just the incoming class?
Madam Speaker, let me just say there will not be any bouncer at the door.
We are an inclusive group. It's a big tent, Madam
crash
Speaker.
a party. I'm just going to let you know right now. And Representative McCain, it is an honor to serve with you as well as you, Representative Hansen. Thank you. Further announcements or introductions? Representative Hansen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. While I'm close to the podium, just wanted to have a very warm welcome to a great group of friends, constituents from House District 6 joining us in the gallery today. Thank you so much for being here. Some great teachers and retired teachers among them. We had our pledge givers this morning from House District 6, so thank you so much for coming.
All right. Welcome, House District 6. Thank you for being here. Representative Hansen, that will be $1. Further announcements or introductions? Representative Everett and Representative Mountain.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is your favorite time of the week, reminding you that tomorrow is bow tie, bolo, baby, and scarf Friday. Also, this is the Javon Melton, How Am I Coming Along, Quitting Smoking update.
So, it has been a week and a half, and I haven't had any cigarettes, and thank you to Representative Ransom and Navarro for some sweets to help me out.
Representative Lee and Representative Landgraf.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I know we have the rapt attention of the House. We can tell by the lack of commotion. We are here to announce the Veterans Caucus on Monday at 12 o'clock in HCR 112. Please join us. We are having a discussion of veterans in the justice system. Many of you have veteran trauma courts in your district. This is a way to find out how they operate, how to make them operate better. And we need to RSVP to Jerry Wheeler, Representative Landgraf's aide.
Representative Lee, methinks they're not listening.
He thinks they are.
Hold on 1 second. I'll help you out. Representative Landgraf.
Try it again.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Trying to be a little more effective, Monday is the Veterans Caucus. The topic will be veterans in the justice system. It is downstairs in HCR 0112. Lunch will be served, so you must RSVP to Jerry Wheeler. Thank you. He thinks they still listen.
Representative Escar, Madam Caucus Chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you.
It is an honor to serve with you.
I would be remiss if I didn't introduce my fun people from Pueblo Community Health Center, and my fun person, I should say. Michelle Sandoval's in the back in the corner. She's on the board of directors. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the work you do for Pueblo.
Representative Hooton and Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Good morning, Madam Speaker.
Good morning.
It's a lovely day. It's a pleasure to serve with you.
It is a lovely, beautiful day.
Good morning, members. Majority Leader Becker and I are delighted to welcome some of the members of Clinica from Boulder. Up here in the corner, these are absolutely an essential clinic in Boulder that provides services, medical services, for the uninsured and Medicaid patients. We're delighted to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Clinica, for coming down to the Capitol today. And members, can you please join me in welcoming Clinica Campesina from Boulder County?
Welcome to the Capitol. Further announcements or introductions? Further announcements or introductions? I knew somebody. Representative Buck.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I just have to say, I want to thank the Salute for coming down to the Capitol, and also Sunrise. If you're anywhere in the House chambers, welcome, welcome to your house. Thank you.
Further announcements or introductions? Further announcements or introductions? One last time, okay. Seeing none, the next order of business is third reading of bills, final passage. Members, we are doing third reading. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1081.
House Bill 1081 by Representative Nordberg, also Senator Fenberg, concerning authority to offer in-state tuition classification at state-supported institutions of higher education for athletes training in Colorado and programs approved by the United States Olympic Committee.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1081 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of House Bill 1081 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Representative Herod, please close the machine. With 63 yes votes, 2 no votes, House Bill 1081 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1104.
House Bill 1104 by Representative Navarro, Senator Priola, concerning the exclusion from state taxable income of the monetary value of any medal won by an athlete while competing for the United States of America at the Olympic Games, so long as the athlete's federal adjusted gross income does not exceed a specified amount.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1104 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of House Bill 1104 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Please close the machine. With 64 yes votes, 1 no vote, House Bill 1104 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1116.
House Bill 1116 by Representatives Hamner and Exum, also Senator Martinez Humina, concerning the continuation of energy-related assistance to low-income households.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1116 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of House Bill 1116 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Please close the machine. With 48 yes votes, 17 no votes, House Bill 1116 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1181.
House Bill 1181 by Representatives Pedersen and Lundin, House Senators Priola and Todd, concerning requiring a single statewide end-of-year assessment for students enrolled in 9th grade that is aligned with the 10th grade state assessment and in connection therewith reducing an appropriation.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1181 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of House Bill 1181 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Representative Lee, Representative Liston. Close the machine. With 65 yes votes, 0 no votes, and lots of applause and lots of support, House Bill 1181 is passed. Co-sponsors. That's impressive. Co-sponsors. How high can you go? Come on. Come on. Co-sponsors. The resistors. We have some resistors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1184.
House Bill 1184 by Representative Duran, House Senator Grantham, concerning developing additional resources for modern technology education in public schools.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1184 on third reading and final passage.
All right. Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Question before us is the passage of House Bill 1184 on third reading and final passage. Please close the machine. With 47 yes votes, 18 no votes, House Bill 1184 is passed. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1187.
House Bill 1187 by Representative Thurlow, House Senator Crowder, concerning a change to the growth factor in the excess state revenues cap.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1187 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of, we do have discussion. Representative Sane.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you.
It is an honor to serve with you, too.
Great, we started this conversation off right. So members, in the spirit of that respect, I apologize I didn't get up here on seconds, but I felt compelled today to come up and talk about this bill. And I do rise in opposition to this bill. And I know I talked to some of you about this bill already and its familiar history, but I'll understand if some of you may be shocked that this bill doesn't represent a new pioneering idea. It doesn't follow a new idea to solve a problem. It actually follows the footsteps of another proposal that's over 17 years old. In 1979, an initiative posed with support of 74% of the voters set a maximum bound that was to be adjusted each year depending on state population, inflation, and actually I really love this, required a state to actually reimburse local governments for the cost of complying with state mandates. That's kind of a novel idea, I really like that one. But if this sounds familiar, it should be, because 1979 was the year the state of California passed the GAN limit, that's G-A-N-N. It was a precursor of Tabor and what Tabor was actually based off of. The GAN limit was effective in making the state budget run like a family household. In 1987, however, the state refunded $1.1 billion in surplus revenues to taxpayers. But the rebate angered the education lobby, which responded by passing Prop 98. That required the public schools to receive a share of revenues that exceeded the GAN limit and required the state to compensate for any decreases in education spending when revenues decrease. I'm asking this question, members, because does it sound familiar? Does it sound familiar to anything that happened here in Colorado? Then, when education spending came at the expense of other programs and infrastructure, the transportation lobby worked to pass Proposition 111, which did several things, but most importantly, tied the spending limit to per capita personal income growth instead of inflation. And I'm going to again ask you, in relevance to this particular bill, does that sound familiar? The GAN limit was effectively eviscerated by Prop 111 and ceased to be a meaningful constraint on the size of state government. The deficit ballooned to $38 billion of the B, and the taxpayers are still paying the price, and the state of California has never recovered. There are a lot of folks that served in this chamber and the Senate that have authorized the situation that we're in right now. I'm not here to blame anybody that served in the past, but our budget grows every year, over 40% since 2009. And I'd like to have anybody be brave enough, if their business or their family income has grown 40% since 2009, please raise your hand. Seen one, okay, that's good. So back to 1187. We need to prioritize the budget. That's what the taxpayers have asked us to do. If we had prioritized this budget, we wouldn't be squeezing these other programs that are leading to the inevitable Tabor blaming. And we've seen that program run before. Again, taxpayers have clearly asked us to prioritize their budget, just like their families do at the kitchen table. And therefore, I'm going to urge us not to follow a path that another state has already been down. I'm urging you to stop now and don't eviscerate Tabor, because what will follow with that is going to be inevitable. And our families will pay the price for us not prioritizing the budget. I urge a no vote on this bill. Thank you.
Representative Leonard.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I appreciate the time to address the Assembly today in the third reading for this bill and the Taxpayer Bill of Rights. I only have one issue to make, but I'm going to let you see a graph here. This is basically the same graph that was done by our staff that shows what Tabor would look like and what refunds would look like to the taxpayer if, in fact, we use personal income as a measure of our baseline. And you see in this graph here, one, the dotted line would be the personal income, and the other solid line would be exactly what we followed, both ups and downs. But if you look at it more closely, and if we can show the one with the colored areas in it, the colored red is all the money that would go move from the taxpayer to the state. And in the green, it would be the money that would stay with the taxpayer. So had we in the last 20 years followed personal income, then the state would have a considerable more money. There'd be no refunds, and there'd be a significantly higher amount of taxes on our residents. And so I can't project the future of what personal income would be like, but if you look at the very end, you can see this ever-increasing line. And the issue here, and it's been addressed before, so I won't repeat it, that just because our residents make more money, does that really mean that the state government needs to have more money to function? Isn't really inflation, population, the true measure of the services that government should render to the folks? I just want to talk a little bit about budgets and more money. You heard a very similar statistic. In the past 6 years ago, we had an $18 billion budget. 6 years later, we have $9 billion more in revenue. And so you would think $9 billion on top of 18 would solve a lot of problems. But in fact, we have as much a budget crisis today than we've ever had before. You can name all the endless unfunded things. If we just had another $9 billion, surely we'd be finished with this. And we all know that that's not true. In our household budgets, in all our budgets, we can never have enough money. We always want to do more. Even if government is charity, which it's not, our Colorado nonprofits the other day gave us all a piece of paper on our desk. The Colorado nonprofits, in and out, revenues in and expenses out, were $27.6 billion. Our budget is $27 billion. So the nonprofits in and out for charitable organizations is the same size as our state budget. And yet, if you ask every nonprofit, do you have more needs than you have revenues? Every one of them would say absolutely. We could double our revenues and double our expenditures to make a better Colorado. So even though we have 501c3s that are as large as our government, they still don't have enough money. So it is endless. So for us to ask our voters, our residents, please give us your refunds that you would have $249 million because we need them, the state needs them more than you do. I just want to give you a little perspective about our residents because I think we need to be able to look at it from their perspective. As my favorite philosopher, George Bailey, says, they're the ones that are doing all the living and dying around here. And so from their perspective, here's the teacher that is every Sunday night correcting tests, or the firemen and the policemen that are at 2 o'clock in the morning responding to an accident with a teenager who is texting and driving, or a stay-at-home mom who's trying to make ends meet and balancing a budget every day while raising kids. Or how about the baker and the barista that are getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning so that we can have a skinny double-fat latte at 6:01 in the morning. And then there's the nurse and the ER doctor who are 11 o'clock at night helping a kid with a fever that's through the roof. These are the folks that are paying into our coffers. And then when they're done giving the state money, because that's all we care about, right, is our either $10 billion inside our general fund or our $27 billion inside our entire budget, then they still have to pay their RTD tax, right? They still have to pay their gas tax. They still have water and sewer districts in my area to pay for. They have their property tax with their library that they have to pay for, their fire districts that they have to pay for. We have cultural tax so that somebody else can go to the art museum because they're too busy working. And then when they're all done with those round of taxes, then they still want to drop some money in the church collection basket. They still want to go to the pancake breakfast and raise some money there. They still want to go to their Kiwanis and their Rotary Club and give to those. They want to go to their church and their school gala so they can bid on silent auction money, so they can still give to that $27 billion organization. But when they have a car repair that's $1,000, or they have oral surgery for their teenager for $2,000, they don't come running to someone else to say, I can't make this work. They've got to make it work. They have to give up something in order to make their budget work, and that's what we should be doing as a state, no different than our residents. We need to say we are getting $509 million more this year from our residents. And we need to make that money work, and we need to allocate within. We'll always have unfunded needs and wants, but we've got to be able to work within, because more money is not going to solve the problem. And so I would ask for a no vote on this. Thank you.
Representative Covarrubias.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, everyone. When I came down to the Capitol and on the campaign trail, what I heard the most in my district is we want our roads fixed and we want our schools cleaned up. So I started out on a bill to do that. As I went down that rabbit hole, the one option was to raise the gas tax. Well, that's very unpopular, so we tore that up before it ever even got any headway. As I was moving forward on how do we get money for the roads, how do we get more money for the schools, the Tabor bill came up, and I took a look at it, and I sent it out to all of my constituents, about 1,500 people, and I've got an overwhelming response on the bill, which is fantastic. You want to hear from everybody. If we're waiting on government to spend every single dollar responsibly and everything we do absolutely responsibly before we choose to make a difference and get some money from here to put it over there before we fix anything, may as well be waiting forever. That's not going to happen. I want to be clear about a couple of things. I represent all the people in my district, not the 12 loudest, not just the Republicans. I represent the Democrats, the Libertarians, the unaffiliateds, everybody in my district. And my goal here at the Capitol is to not play political party games. I don't care about that stuff. My goal is to help rise the tide for people in our society to make life better for people of Colorado, not just for a select group of folks. I believe that we do that through education and hard work. I am willing to work with everybody or anybody in this building on responsible legislation that makes sense, that helps the people of Colorado. Not just to swing to this side or to that side because that's the thing to do. I didn't come down here just to press the red button all the time. Came down here to really try to make a difference as a statesman, not as a politician, because you all know I'm new here. And I'm listening to the people and I'm hearing what they say. And as we all know in this room, you can start out with a bill meaning one thing, and by the time you end up, it goes through the House and the Senate and the amendments, it gets changed around and flipped and twisted into a million different things. My question is, if not this, then what? And if not now, when? I understand we don't spend all the money properly. I understand we move it around. I've gotten a huge education on Tabor and the budget, and it still barely scratches the surface of what the people in the JBC know. But I am on the Finance Committee, and I do listen to what's going on, and I have a better knowledge now than I did 2.5 months ago when I got off my backhoe to come down to the state capitol to start doing this for a living. For all the groups and the people out there that lie in the weeds just waiting to pounce, keep your pencils sharpened because I'm just getting started. Thank you.
Further discussion? Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, members. I actually didn't plan to speak today on this bill because I thought it was one of those situations where everything that has been said, and everything that can be said has been said, and we just haven't all said it yet. And I realize that I've said it innumerable times, but here I am, and I just think that it's worth talking about the objections that we just heard, some of which I don't understand. But I appreciate the objections, and we should discuss them. Representative Sane, I'm not sure exactly what to say because this certainly isn't an original idea with me. I've never claimed that it was. It's been talked about before. There's a guy named Brad Young who actually wrote a book on it. Some of you may have read it. It's pretty involved, but it talks about the measurement of inflation and how it doesn't measure the growth of an economy. It just measures a market basket of goods and services that consumers use, but it doesn't measure the cost of roads, it doesn't measure the cost of building buildings, it doesn't measure the cost of education, it doesn't measure the things that government does very well. So that's my first argument, is that we're using the wrong measurement, and I know I beat that one to death. My second argument, and it goes to Representative Leonard's comments, and I thank you, Representative, for making those comments. But I think we go far afield when we start talking about the endless need for money. I agree. I actually agree with that. I think the nature of things, whether it's in the state of Colorado or the national budget or whatever, there is an endless need for money, and some of it gets taken care of by the nonprofits. I don't see anything wrong with that. If they're doing well, I think that's more power to them. They're not mandating anything. They're getting voluntary money, and they're doing certain things, and hopefully that takes away from the government's need to do some things. But I guess I don't know what it has to do with the issue. The issue before us is merely to examine the procedures and decide if the voters agree with you that we're spending too much money. And if they do, they'll vote no at the ballot box, because that's all this Measure 1187 does, is sends an issue for the voters to decide exactly those kinds of questions. Do I want to keep my own money and contribute, or do I want to contribute to a nonprofit? Or am I okay in this environment with having my $40 or $50 be left with the government and let it aggregate those dollars into something that will tackle the roads and the education and the other problems that we have? And if you don't agree with that, you vote no. It's a simple proposition to go to the voters, and I think we should trust the voters to be intelligent enough to make that decision. I think the baristas and the taxi cab drivers and the people that you talk about that are paying all of those taxes and either struggling to make ends meet or not can make that exact decision, and we should let them. And Representative Covarrubias, thank you for your kind words. You and I have had a lot of discussion on this bill, and I absolutely would like to echo Representative Covarrubias's words. And the question is, what did you come here to do? What did each one of us come here to do? You know, I came here as a retirement job. I thought, man, this would be easy after working 40 years. And you know, you start to think when you're over here, because this is important work, and when you get to be my age or Representative Wilson's age or some of the others, you start to think about what's your tombstone going to say. Now, I know, Nordberg, you don't think like that. Bridges and Garnett, some of you guys, that's a foreign concept, is what's your tombstone going to say. But that's what I would ask each of you to think about. What's your tombstone going to say? And it's probably, for most of us, it's not going to say that this was the best thing we did. You know, most of us, it's going to say raised a family and we participated in our community and we did different things throughout our lives. This probably won't be the most important thing, but I also submit that it's pretty important. We're here to represent the state and we're here to move the ball forward. And what I would say is that's what this measure does. It moves the ball forward only if the voters want it to move forward in an important way. And we are engaged in all these discussions about how much money to spend on roads. And as you all know, there's a big proposal that has now been placed on the table to raise, and I haven't read the bill yet, but my understanding is $600 or $700 million for roads. And I think that's great. It's a discussion we ought to have. It's a problem we need to solve. And I hope that it works. But it's a different question on 1187. The question of 1187 is, one, should the voters be able to make a decision under Tabor? And two, whether we set the right policy in 1992 when we chose inflation, and is that the right measurement? And if not, do you want to change it, as we do all the time with all of our laws, whether they're constitutional or statutory? All the time we work through a process where we change measurements, we change policies. My goodness, we're doing it right now with Obamacare and Medicaid as things go back and forth. That's just what we do. So there's absolutely no problem with asking the voters to do that. So I think that's the final question, is what do you want your tombstone to say about your service here in the House? Did you do anything to move the ball forward, or did you merely try to raise your score with a rating agency that works in this building and does not interact with the people of Colorado? I would ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Representative Buck.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and Representative Thurlow. I understand what you're trying to do, move this ball, but I have to tell you, at the end of the day, my tombstone will say that the people will always know how to spend money, their money, better than government. So, thank you. I ask that you all vote no on this bill.
Representative Michael.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And just like the bill sponsor and many members today, I did not plan to speak on third reading. In fact, I don't believe I've ever spoken on third reading in my time here. We debated the merits of the bill very well on second reading, how it raises taxes and increases spending. But let's step back for a moment, members. Have you ever considered why people, when they're asked by polls, distrust government? Bills like this may be part of the reason. The Taxpayer Bill of Rights is in our Constitution, and it very clearly and logically outlines the proper formula that was approved by voters. To amend this fundamental section in our Constitution requires a constitutional amendment, and we can do that, members. We do it regularly. We often send to the voters bills that pass through our chambers the proper way, using concurrent resolutions and a 2/3 vote. But this is a simple bill. Members, it's not just what we do that matters, but how we do it. There's a right way to amend the Constitution, and this isn't it. Furthermore, when you start your proposal that goes to the voters and asks for a tax increase without raising taxes, may we raise your taxes, the voters will see through that. And that's why they don't trust government, reasons like that. Not only does it raise taxes, does it pass it through the legislature in a backhanded way and sends shady language to the voters. But finally, consider this, members. Amendment 71 just passed in November. Many of us here in the chambers argued for that, to raise the bar, to make it harder to amend the Constitution, to make it harder for the people to amend the Constitution. This bill not only goes around our rules in the legislature to push it through, but it goes around a rule that the voters just put into place a few months ago, the 55% level. Members, I urge a no vote on this for the merits of the bill that I argued against on second reading and for the very logical reasons I just argued now. Thank you.
Representative Beckman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I stand in opposition of
Madam
this
Speaker.
bill. Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you. I stand in opposition of this bill for all of the reasons that you've heard, but also I don't like this tool, and I think to go to the voters is so short-sighted. When you look at what passes in Colorado, and this comes from people that are a lot smarter than us in marketing and strategy, you need a ballot question that is very specific about how the funds are going to be spent. This is not specific. You make sure there is zero chance that the funds could be spent in other ways on something else. This does not do that. You sunset the tax so that people can know that it's not going to go on forever. This has no sunset. And you let people know how much this is going to cost them. And I don't know how we would be able to do that. I stand in opposition of this bill because I don't like the tool. But also, on my tombstone, I want to have it say that smart, strategic, and doing the right things for the people of Colorado. And this bill doesn't do that.
Members, we are having discussion on third reading. Representative Gray.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. For anyone in this body who disagrees with this policy, I respect that. It's a choice that everybody gets to make. If you think that this is a question that the voters of the state of Colorado, that it shouldn't be put to them, that this is a decision that the voters of the state of Colorado shouldn't be allowed to make, I respect that. The truth is, this is not a bill that violates the Constitution. Plainly, under case law that exists in Colorado case law. With respect to the measure beginning without raising taxes, the Colorado Court of Appeals has been given that exact challenge in a matter involving a similar measure in the city of Colorado Springs, and the Colorado Court of Appeals specifically said that's an appropriate way to phrase this question to voters. That's also indicative of why this is something that doesn't require a constitutional amendment. This is something that happens at the local government level all the time. Local governments send ballot questions to their voters, relaxing or removing a Tabor revenue limit. And of course, local governments don't have the power to amend the Constitution. In the same way, Referendum C amended our revenue limit without amending the Constitution. And so each member in this body can vote the way that they want to vote, obviously. And it's a policy that obviously there's a lot of views on in this room. But nobody who is voting for this bill is voting for something that is in violation of the Constitution. The Taxpayers' Bill of Rights says that revenue limit is the revenue limit unless there is a voter-approved revenue change. The authors of the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights and the voters who approved the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights specifically said this is the revenue limit unless voters change it. This bill would ask the voters if they want to change it. The sponsors of this bill are not asking anyone to violate the Colorado Constitution, which isn't a light accusation to make toward the sponsors of the bill. Everybody in this chamber, however you vote on this bill, will fully respect the Constitution of the state of Colorado. The Constitution gives us the ability to support bills or to not. But there is nobody who will vote either way on this bill that will in any way be voting to violate the Colorado Constitution. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Representative Sayes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you all for indulging me. I don't think I've ever spoken on thirds either, and certainly hadn't intended to. And I'm not going to talk about the substance of this bill. I think we've been through that, and people know how they're going to vote on it. But I may not be as close to confronting, at least I don't think, mortality as some of the other members in the chamber here, although you never know. And I have had a glimpse of it once or twice. And what I do think is is wrong here is when people who are voting a particular way, either way, are having their motives impugned. And I respect people who have different views on this. I'm going to vote no for reasons that have been articulated by others. But, you know, the bottom line is I'm going to respect everybody in here for what they bring to this and believe that they make their decisions based on a considered judgment of the facts. And I think we should stick to that. I think we're better than impugning each other's motives. Thank you very much.
Representative Thurlow.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, members. And if that was considered impugning someone's motives, I apologize. What it all boils down to is, do you trust the voters to decide this issue or not? If you do, you should vote yes. Thanks.
Thank you, Representative Thurlow. Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is a passage of House Bill 1187 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Representative Humphrey, Representative McCain, Representative Thurlow. Please close the machine. With 39 yes votes, 26 no votes, House Bill 1187 is passed. Co-sponsors. Oh. So we have now closed the machine. What we're doing co-sponsors. That has been closed. That's fine. Representative Covarrubias.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. After hearing from the voters in HD 56, I respectfully ask for my name to be removed from the bill 1187.
Representative Covarrubias' name will be removed from the bill as a co-sponsor. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 60.
Senate Bill 60 by Senator Todd, also Representative Wilson, concerning relocation of the Colorado Student Leaders Institute from the Office of the Lieutenant Governor to the Department of Higher Education in connection therewith making and reducing an appropriation.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 60 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of Senate Bill 60 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Please close the machine. With 65 yes votes, 0 no votes, Senate Bill 60 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 196.
Senate Bill 196 by Senator Lundberg, also Representative Young, concerning the improvement of the Department of Law's Information Technology Security.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 196 on third reading and final passage.
Question before us is a passage of Senate Bill 196 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Representative Catlin, Representative Pedersen. Please close the machine. With 60 yes votes, 5 no votes, Senate Bill 196 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 197.
Senate Bill 197 by Senator Lombard, also Representative Young, concerning the provision of legal services for the Department of Education for the 2016-17 state fiscal year.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 197 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of Senate Bill 197 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Representative Buck, Representative Catlin, Representative Herod. With 47 yes votes, 18 no votes, Senate Bill 197 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1115.
House Bill 1115 by Representatives Buck and Janala, Senators Kafalas and Tate, concerning the establishment of direct primary health care agreements to operate without regulation by the Division of Insurance.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1115 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of House Bill 1115 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Representative Benavides, Representative Hooton, Representative Lantine, Representative Lebsack. Please close the machine. With 65 yes votes, 0 no votes, House Bill 1115 is passed. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors. How high can we go? Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors. We have some resistors on that one too. Please close the machine. You bet. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 8.
Senate Bill 8 by Senator Hill, also Representative Lebsack, concerning legalizing certain knives.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 8 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is a passage of Senate Bill 8 on third reading and final passage with some dancers from West Side Story. Seeing no discussion, there's a story there. Mr. Randall, please open the machine. Please close the machine. With 59 yes votes, 6 no votes, Senate Bill 8 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Our next order of business is general orders, second reading of bills. Representative Singer. All right. Seeing no objection, Representative Singer will take the chair.
Ready? The committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there is a request for reading a bill at length. Committee amendments will not be read unless requested, as they are printed and in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen and on your iPads and not read unless requested. Bills will be laid over upon motion of the majority leader, and the Coat rule is relaxed. Please read the title of House Bill 1197.
House Bill 1197 by Representative Janal, Senator Quorum, concerning the exclusion of marijuana from the definition of farm products with regard to the regulation of farm products under the Farm Products Act.
Representative Janal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1197 and the committee report from Agriculture, Livestock, and Natural Resources.
To the report.
The report simply further defines marijuana as a meaning set forth in Article 18 of the Colorado Constitution. The Department of Agriculture wanted to further clarify what that definition of marijuana was, so I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on the Agriculture Committee report? Seeing none, and all in favor of the Agriculture Committee reports, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The report passes. To the bill, Representative Janal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this bill was brought forth by the Department of Agriculture because of the Colorado Farm Products Act, which actually was adopted long before Amendment 64 and Amendment 20 came into being. And we need to pass this bill because the Department of Agriculture cannot bond or insure marijuana dealers since it's illegal at the federal level. And this is an additional layer of regulation for the marijuana industry and also for the agricultural industry. And the Department of Revenue, which regulates marijuana from seed to sale, is actually where this should be. So I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1197? Seeing none, and Representative Janal, did you make a motion on this?
I would like to move House Bill 1197.
Well, I'd like to hear you move it, too. I assume you actually move House Bill. Okay.
I think so.
With that, is there any further discussion on House Bill 1197? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the passage of House Bill 1197. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and House Bill 1197 passes.
please read the title of Senate Bill 73.
Senate Bill 73 by Senator Garcia, also Representative Valdez, concerning promotion of the Runyon Fountains Lake State Wildlife Area.
Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 73.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 73? Representative Lebsack.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I move Amendment L001 and ask for it to be displayed.
Amendment L001 is moved and is now properly displayed. Please continue, Representative Lebsack.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And members, this bill probably should have been amended in committee. The reason why we didn't get bipartisan support on this bill is because we failed to amend it. And so what this amendment does is it just clarifies that the state legislature can't dictate to a home rule city that they shall report to one of our committees. And so it changes to may, one line from shall. And then we also have the Colorado Division of Parks and Wildlife required to come in and report to the committee, which is reasonable. But we just can't have we can't have this legislature dictating to home rule cities that they shall come down and report to one of our committees. It's just not right. They're home rule cities, and we just need to amend this.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment L001? Representative McKean.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also, I would echo those comments. Having served on a local government, the last thing we want to do is try to have the state telling a local government what they're going to do, a home rule community. While my question in committee was, will you work with each other? Do we even need really the bill to say you will? And the answer was back, yes, they will. So I echo those comments.
Thank you, Representative McKean. Is there any further discussion on Amendment L001? Representative Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As part of the committee, speaking of the amendment, I'm in favor of the amendment, but I was actually a no vote in committee because the city of Pueblo wasn't there, and I didn't think we could tell them what to do. Counties and cities that are home rule, we should honor that, and that is their decision. So I'm in support of the amendment. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment L001? Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, this is a friendly amendment for Southern Colorado and for Pueblo.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment L001? Seeing none, the question before the body is the adoption or the passage of Amendment L001. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Amendment L001 passes. Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 73? Representative Escar.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise in support of Senate Bill 73. This is a small lake in Pueblo that is connected to the Arkansas and Fountain rivers, and I want to make sure that we understand that the reason we need to really promote this Runyon Lake and the area around it and beautify it is because it's part of a larger development that's planned to happen in Pueblo with the Riverwalk. It will eventually connect directly to the Riverwalk, and we want to make sure that our constituents continue to use this area for fishing, for hiking, for enjoyment. It's a beautiful area. We just would like to put a little more effort into making sure it becomes more beautiful as we begin to put it into our economic development area of the Riverwalk. So I ask for a yes vote on Senate Bill 73.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 73? Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, this bill will bring stakeholders of Runyon Fountain Lakes State Wildlife Area together to collaborate on long-term planning to ensure maximum development for the community and for Runyon Fountain Lakes. I ask for an aye vote on Senate Bill 73. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 73? Representative Pabon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise in strong support of Senate Bill 73. As someone in the metro area, in a small town called Denver, where I represent 14 neighborhoods, These are the important parts of the state that we need to recognize and cherish and preserve. I want to thank Representative Valdez for taking that effort and taking that on. Thank you on behalf of all of us in Colorado, even those of us who live in Northwest Denver. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Pabon. I guess we couldn't get that Sloan's Lake amendment in there, but we'll try next time. Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 73? Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I ask for an aye vote for Runyon Fountain Lakes and for recreation to get people more involved in our recreation outdoors. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 73? Seeing none, the question before the body is the passage of Senate Bill 73 as amended. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Senate Bill 73 passes as amended. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 100.
Senate Bill 100 by Senator Sonnenberg, House Representatives Landgraf and Arndt, concerning qualified immunity for persons performing land stewardship activities on public lands.
We did.
All right, who would like to start? Representative Landgraf.
I move Senate Bill 100 and the committee report.
To the committee report. Representative Landgraf.
The committee, we added an amendment we passed an amendment that added the word social. Very important.
We urge an aye vote, please, on the committee report.
Representative Arndt, thank you. Is there any further discussion on the committee report or the word social? Seeing none, all those in favor of the Agriculture Committee report signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The report passes. To the bill. Representative Landgraf.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senate Bill 100 amends the Colorado Recreational Trails System Act to include legal protections for volunteers and nonprofits who perform land stewardship on public lands. Where's the amendment?
And
Representative Arndt.
We had testimony in committee that this is, in fact, the best bill of the session, so we urge an aye vote on the bill, please.
Representative Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move L005 and I ask that it be displayed.
Amendment L005 has been moved and is properly displayed. Representative Weissman, please continue.
Thank you. Members, as introduced, the bill allows immunity for negligent and reckless behavior. The amendment would continue immunity for negligent behavior while requiring personal responsibility for behavior that might be deemed reckless. It is my understanding the sponsors consider this a friendly amendment, and I ask for your support.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment L005? Seeing no further discussion on Amendment L005, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. L005 passes. We are back to the bill. Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 100? No. Representative Arndt or Landgraf? Representative Landgraf.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'd ask for a yes vote.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before the body is the passage of Senate Bill 100. Although, as amended, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Senate Bill 100 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the title to Bill, Senate Bill 109.
Senate Bill 109 by Senator Donovan, also Representative Arndt, concerning the use of industrial hemp and products designed for consumption.
Representative Arndt.
Thank you very much. I move Senate Bill 109. There is no committee report.
Well said. Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 109? Representative Lebsack.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm a strong yes on Senate Bill 109, and in fact, I look forward to next year, and I'm hoping that the bill sponsor can work collaboratively with the department to even move a step further. In committee, a witness came with hemp seed ice cream, and some of the committee members actually ate some of it. And so if human beings can eat ice cream made of hemp seed, you would think that the Ag Department would be able to promulgate rules to allow hemp seed to be put in products that are eaten by livestock. And so it's just common sense. If we can eat this hemp seeds, you think our cattle can eat it. So I'm urging the Ag Department to work with the legislature to move forward in this regard next year.
And I'm sure the hemp seed ice cream was both Amendment 41 and Amendment 64 compliant. Representative Arndt.
Well, that actually is the issue, and that's why this bill, as originally, was to allow hemp as feed, and it was amended in the Senate to make it a study because we didn't want to get ahead of ourselves. If one of our cows tested positive, that could be endanger our beef industry nationally. So right now, the bill as stands is a study to make sure we're doing this carefully and that we're not going to, down the road, have an unintended consequence because we didn't do our due diligence. So right now, it's a study with 6 people plus, and I hope the study comes out favorably so that we can indeed, as Representative Lebsack says, move this forward in the near future to allow hemp as feed. Thank you, and I urge an aye vote on Senate Bill 109.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 109? Seeing no further discussion, the question before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 109. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Senate Bill 109 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 41.
Senate Bill 41 by Senator Priolas, Representatives Hooton and Willett concerning employment contracts for positions at institutions of higher education that are funded by revenue generated from auxiliary activities.
Representative Hooton.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and thank you. Mr. Chair, I move Senate Bill 1741.
To the bill, Representative Hooton.
And there is no committee report.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 41?
Yes, thank you. Members, Senate Bill 41 would allow our higher education CU to come in parity with the other members of the Pac-12 conference. Currently, there are only 6 athletic coaching contracts that are available to be negotiated for multiple years. The remainder can only be renewed on an annual basis, which puts us at a great disadvantage. In fact, all of the other universities in that conference can offer multiple year contracts to their coaches. We lost a very valuable assistant coach of the year. Due to that, he went to Oregon. He had a young family and just needed more stability. So the funds for these coaches' contracts come strictly from auxiliary funds, and that would be ticket sales, dormitory, food sales, money from those sources, nothing from the general fund. So I ask the support of this body for this bill.
Is there any further discussion? Representative Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I would only add a couple other things. Even though the driving force of this bill was CU and the rise is real, other Division I higher ed schools in Colorado, CSU in northern Colorado, also benefit from this and have been vetted and are in favor. Unanimous in the Senate, unanimous out of committee. The other thing, it's not just about athletics, members. As you probably know, when you have momentum and you have energy, you get more money, you win more Nobel Prizes, you have more money for aerospace and biotech. So as a proud Buff, this is a good bill, and thank you for your support.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before the body is passage of Senate Bill 41. All in favor say aye. Resounding. All opposed say no. Senate Bill 41 passes. Mr. Randall, please read the title of... Actually, are we out of bills here? House Bill 1220.
House Bill 1220 by Representatives Becker, Kay, and Wist, also Senators Gardner and Fields, concerning measures to stop diversion of legal marijuana to the illegal market.
Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1220 until Friday, March 10th.
Seeing no objection, House Bill 1220 will be laid over until Friday, March 10th. Mr. All right, we will lay over House Bill 1044. Mr. Assistant Majority. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
I move that we rise and report.
All right, you have heard the motion. Seeing no objection, the committee will rise and report.
House will come to order. Mr. Randall, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Madam Speaker, your committee of the whole begs leave to report has had under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof, makes the following recommendations thereon. House Bill 1197 is amended, passed on second reading, and goes to place on the calendar for third reading, final passage. Senate Bill 41, Senate Bill 73 is amended, Senate Bill 100 is amended, Senate Bill 109 passed on second reading, in order revised and placed on the calendar for third reading, final passage. House Bill 1220 laid over until March 10th, 2017, retaining its place on the calendar.
Representative Singer. All right. Members, you have heard the motion. Mr. Randall, please open the machine to vote on adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole.
We were just noticing you've got a haircut.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
You see, we only see the top of your head because you are always like this. So that's why we notice.
Representative Buck, Representative Buckner, Representative Catlin, Representative Danielson, Representative Everett, Representative Garnett, Representative Landgraf, Representative McLaughlin. Oh, she got it. Representative Winter. Please vote.
That's my fault. Actually, it's pretty big.
Representative Buckner. Representative Buckner is excused. Please close the machine. With 64 yes votes, 0 no votes, 1 excused, the report of the Committee of the Whole is adopted. Announcements and introductions. Representative Kraft-Tharp.
Thank you. Members, Business Affairs and Labor Committee has a big meeting today, so get ready. Representative Wilson will be bringing us the House Bill 1174 for action only. Representative Winston Gray will be joining us for House Bill 1200. Representative Norberg and Hooten will be joining us for Senate Bill 124. And finally, Representative Arndt brings us House Bill 1196, CU 130 LSBA. Thank you.
Representative Speaker Pro Tem Danielson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just jumped the line because I have a very special guest in the audience today. If you could please give a warm welcome to my mom, Beth Danielson.
Aww.
Stand up, stand up.
Welcome to the Capitol,
members.
Beth. Your wonderful daughter. Further announcements or introductions. Representative Janal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. HIE will meet 107 this afternoon at 1:30, and we will be hearing 3 bills. Senate Bill 33, Senate Bill 137, and House Bill 1186. Thanks.
Representative Winter. And Minority Leader Neville.
Members, just a reminder, we got the diaper drive going in. I got 2 donations from Representative Ransom and this one from Representative Wilson. So let's keep the diapers coming in. I think we need sizes 3, 4, and 5.
Yes, we have one more day. If you forget to buy your diapers, you can write a check to the Nappy Project. And so feel free to drop your checks off at my desk if that's easier for you. Thanks.
Thank you so much for doing that. Further announcements or introductions. Representative Rankin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I ask
for permission to be excused tomorrow. I have filled out the form.
You are excused. Further, Representative Lee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. For the Judiciary Committee, for our agenda this afternoon, House Bill 1150 Navarro is set for action only this afternoon. Navarro bills and Carver's for action only. Thank you.
Representative Foote.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Okay, State Affairs, we're going to meet at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock will be in LSBA, the normal spot. We're going to hear two bills, Senate Bill 122 by Representatives Danielson and Carver, and then House Bill 1155 by Representative Thurlow starting at 11 o'clock, LSBA.
Representative Mitch Bush.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor and a pleasure to serve with you.
It is an incredible honor and pleasure to serve with you. It sure is a beautiful day, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a great day. Transportation Energy Committee members, we are meeting upon adjournment to consider HJR 1015, and that will be at 5 to 11. I will start the meeting at 5 to 11.
Representative Sade.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And if they are here, we've got a school group visiting with us from Erie Elementary with the Optimist Club of Erie. So are you here? Oh, they may have left already, but everybody give a hand to Erie Elementary visiting today in the gallery. Thank you.
Assistant Majority Leader Garnett and Minority Leader Neville.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, it is your license plate tournament update. And that's I don't think this is surprising. Pioneer license plate beat Italian American Heritage 25-9. And the Denver Nuggets continue to lose. And Colorado State University Pueblo won 22-10. I actually was a little surprised by that one.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. So members, you got your ballots on your desk. Today's got some more interesting matchups. I think these will be a little closer. CU versus Donate Life, and then State Parks versus Wildlife Sporting. I think that one's going to be a close one because your wildlife sporting happens in state parks, so choose carefully.
Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I'm getting questions from several of you about absentee forms. Assistant Minority Leader, the Minority Leader, and the Assistant Majority Leader, and I have these forms. If you're going to be gone, come fill out the form. And if you don't hear from us again, that means it's turned into Maryland and you've been approved. If you hear from us, that means there might be a problem. So people keep asking, what did you do with my form? And we signed it and turned it into Maryland unless you hear otherwise.
Thank you, Majority Leader Becker. Further announcements or introductions? Going once, going twice. Any further announcements or introductions? Seeing none, Madam Majority Leader Becker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House stand in recess till 1:30 today.
Seeing no objection, the House will stand in recess until 1:30 today.